Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be shedding light on the ample problems appertaining to undergoing equity financing to raise funds for your business. So why should you desist, abstain, and refrain from undergoing equity financing to raise funds for your business? Unfortunately, lamentably, much to my dismay, much to my consternation, much to my chagrin, much to my grief, much to my agony, much to my distress, there are a myriad of problems appertaining to undergoing equity financing to rally funds for your business. What are they, you may ask? Without further ado, without further delay, allow me to demystify that answer to that inquiry right here, right now. Unfortunately, when you undergo equity financing, it can be eminently disadvantageous. How so, you may ask? Well, there are a multitude of reasons as to why undergoing equity financing can be disadvantageous that extend beyond the ambit of potential conflicts ensuing between you and your partners. When you undergo equity financing, you are undermining your future earnings potential. Your distributions derived from your business, from your company, will be all the less sizable post diluting your equity stake in your business. When you relinquish shares of equity to investors, to venture capitalists, to shareholders, your future earnings potential is abated. It is undermined. Your distributions will be contracted. They will be truncated relative to what they would be if you had a larger equity stake in your business. So just be wary of that. Be leery of that. Allow that to seep into the bowels of your mind. Allow that to marinate into the chasms of your mind. And instantiate the ramifications, the repercussions associated with relinquishing shares of equity blithely to others. Doing so may provide you with funds in the short haul, but these funds are ephemeral, they're fleeting, they're short-lived, they will eventually be depleted, and then you'll be left with a smaller equity stake in your business, which will culminate in your future earnings being all the more infinitesimal than they otherwise would be if you had a larger equity stake in your business. That's the gist of it. Let's move on. What is another disadvantage appertaining to undergoing equity financing to raise funds for your business? Well, you relinquish control of your business to others, which can be problematic to say the least. Will there be a falling out between you and your partners? Can your angel investors, can your venture capitalists, can your shareholders come to a mutual consensus in terms of which strategic decisions to expeditiously implement, or will there be bottlenecks, impediments, altercations? Are there visions, strategic objectives, strategic goals, work ethics, and ambitions aligned with yours? Will everything be stifled as a result of all this bureaucracy being involved in strategic decisions? You need to find that out for yourself, and you will ascertain that post succumbing to equity financing to raise funds for your business. The reality is you need to be nimble. You need to be able to implement strategic decisions in an expeditious manner. You cannot afford to defer doing so, especially if you compete in hyper-competitive markets that are overly saturated with competitors. You're vying for market share against competitors who have ample, potent competitive advantages. You're also vying for market share against competitors who have enormous customer bases, who have already also attained robust brand equity, strong brand loyalty, and of course substantial brand recognition. So how will you compete on an even playing field against them if there's all these impediments and all these bottlenecks and all these setbacks involved in implementing strategic decisions? Losing control of your business can indeed be calamitous. It can cause you to become encumbered. It can cause you to reach an impasse. It can even cause you to be ousted from your own company. The shareholders control everything. That's the way companies operate. And there's bureaucracies involved in strategic decision making. Strategies do not get implemented in an expeditious manner. If anything, the implementation of strategies is postponed, is deferred. And you do not want your company to become unprofitable. You do not want your company to become insolvent. You do not want your company to become defunct. And it is imperative, it is incumbent, it is paramount that strategic decisions can be implemented in an expeditious manner, and that your partners do not defer to implement decisions in an expeditious manner. If they do, then it can redound to your disadvantage. How will you cope with dealing with partners who have disparate management styles from you, who have disparate visions, who have disparate goals, when they have all the leverage and when their equity stake in your business is comparable to yours? Potential conflicts can arise between you and your partners. The loss of control can be detrimental to you, especially if you had an overarching vision, a lofty, ambitious vision for your business that is not being actualized. And especially if your distributions are negligible in the future as a result of hardly having any equity remaining in your business post relinquishing nearly all your shares of equity to others. Moreover, when you undergo equity financing, another problem that's often overlooked, that's often overseen, is that it becomes all the more arduous to raise funds in the pending future by selling additional shares of equity, because you have less shares of equity to sell for raising funds when your remaining shares of equity are so infinitesimal at best. It's not a viable long-term financing option for funding your business's operations as you deplete your... Well, let me just rephrase the subsequent thought. As you relinquish your shares of equity, you have less shares of equities to offer to prospective investors in the future. So, it's not a viable long-term financing option for rallying funds for your business. Because once you've depleted all of your equity shares, you will not be able to raise funds via equity financing in the pending future because you no longer have any equity shares to offer prospective investors. I hope that you deem this video to be enthralling. Have a blissful day. Goodbye.